Welcome to page 10 of your Keystone exam study guide for biology. On page 10, we're transitioning into unit 4 actually, and we're going to be looking at the processes for energy transformation in living things. So it says, identify and describe how organisms obtain and transform energy for their life processes. What it wants us to do is describe the roles of ATP in biochemical reactions, and then compare the basic transformations of energy during photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So let's start off with the first bullet point. ATP, if you remember, is adenosine triphosphate, ADENOSINE, adenosine triphosphate. This is what it looks like. It's a ribose, a 5-carbon sugar with an adenine, and then there's 3 phosphates. That's where the tri comes from. And the energy in ATP is actually located within these phosphate bonds. So the way an ATP becomes a high energy molecule that provides fuel for cells is found in this little bond right here between those last 2 phosphates, between phosphate number 2 and phosphate number 3. Biochemical reactions that require energy, such as active transport, are going to use ATP as an energy source. So that's basically it. When ATP is used and that energy molecule, that phosphate, breaks off, what will happen is the phosphate will break off, the energy will be used, and you will end up with your sugar, your adenine, and then now you're a 2-phosphate. This is a low energy molecule called ADP, which stands for adenosine diphosphate. Okay, this will go into the mitochondria where it will become supercharged, and that new phosphate will be added, which is going to bring it back to be ATP again. And that process just continues and continues. As the bond breaks between these 2 phosphates, energy is released through the bond energy. All right. So where does this ATP come from? We know that our cells need ATP in order to undergo processes such as active transport. But where does that energy come from? Well, if you remember, all of the energy from our planet comes from the sun. We are not photosynthetic, so we can't just go outside and absorb the sun's energy. So there needs to be an energy transformation. The sun's energy goes into photosynthetic organisms along with carbon dioxide and water. This produces glucose and oxygen. Glucose is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, C6H12O6, which is an energy-rich organic molecule. And remember, to be organic simply means you contain carbon. This glucose is energy rich. It's a high energy molecule, but our cells can't actually just absorb glucose. That glucose needs to be converted or transformed into ATP. And the way that that happens is glucose and oxygen comes into living organisms to undergo cellular respiration. That's what's taking place here. Cellular respiration. Glucose and oxygen are going into the mitochondria, the mighty mitochondria, and out comes carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. So just as a reminder, I'd like you to jot down that all living things undergo cellular respiration. Okay, all living things undergo cellular respiration. It's one of those characteristics of living things. Only plants undergo photosynthesis. Okay, so don't forget those two little things. All right. If you have any questions about page 10, please let me know. And the next video will be page 11.